Hello, it's 10 o'clock. Welcome to the news on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwa Asari. First, let's take a look at the news highlights for the day. 8 out of the 12 aspirants who declared their interest to contest the National Democratic Congress presidential primaries were able to pick nomination forms on final day. 2 of the 4 who could not pick the forms, Eliklim Agbemava and Kojo Bunsu, say their inability to continue the race on the short period allocated they had to meet the set deadlines. Now, the United Nations estimates every year $1 trillion is paid in bribes, while an estimated $2.6 trillion are stolen annually through corruption. The director of CDD, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, says corruption costs 10 times more than money Ghana gets in aid, a situation that could only be tackled through social movement against corruption. The Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining ended the vetting of some 907 small-scale miners across the country on Friday. Miners who face challenges as well as those asked to go make corrections to the document can still visit the office after Friday, December 7, and be served. Elsewhere in sports, WBO Super Bantamweight champion Isaac the Royal Storm Dogbe is set to defend his WBO Super Bantamweight title on Saturday against Mexican Emmanuel Navarrete. Dogbe will be stepping into the ring for the 4th time in a year and sees the defense as his final WBO bout before his hoped unification of the division. On the international front, China has demanded that Canada release the arrested Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou or face consequences. Vice Foreign Minister Li Yusheng had summoned the Canadian ambassador and lodged a strong protest statement said. Many thanks for joining us. Let's go with our first story. The Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining ended the vetting of some 907 small-scale miners across the country on Friday. Miners who face challenges as well as those asked to go make corrections to their document can still visit the office after Friday, December 7, and be served.
Exercise, which began on November 26, forms part of efforts to sanitize the country's mining industry and ensure that persons engaged in the commercial activity do so in a responsible, environmentally friendly and sustainable manner. Persons who pass the vetting will be cleared to return to the mines when the government eventually lifts the ban on all forms of small-scale mining. The committee will produce a report which will be submitted to the President next week. Chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Frimpong Boateng, is optimistic that small-scale miners will be able to return to work by December.
When people say that we are going to lift the ban on galamsey, it's not the right terminology. No, galamsey is illegal, and a ban on it can never be lifted. A ban will be lifted for those who have gone through the vetting process, who have gotten their excavators tracked and licenses. Can you imagine a state where you have hundreds of excavators coming in They are not licensed, you don't know where they are, and they go to the forest digging for minerals.
So let's still stay in the mining sector because the excavator evacuation team, a unit under the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, has busted 16 Chinese nationals engaged in illegal mining. The team is also on a lookout for a Ghanaian national who is alleged to be leading these Chinese illegal miners in their activities.
The excavator evacuation team, led by WO1 Udenyakon, picked up the 16 Chinese nationals in the Krobo Forest in the Ashanti region. Almost all the 16 captured Chinese had in their possession a national ID. It is unclear how they managed to get hold of the national ID when indeed the National Identification Authority is still at a pilot stage in the issuance of the cards. They were handed over to the Obuasi police but were transferred to Accra on Friday, where they will be handed over to the Criminal Investigations Department for further investigations. Items retrieved were 14 pump-action guns, 1 M16 gun, about 200 cartridges, 5 cutlasses, about 30 excavators, 2 caterpillars, and a sum of 45,000 plus sand residue. Chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, says government will ensure foreigners do not take over the small-scale mining sector, which is the preserve of Ghanaians.
His Excellency the President said last year that he puts his presidency online to stop this. So what the President says must mean something to Ghanaians and everybody who wants to work in Ghana. The ban on mining will be lifted for those who have been vetted to go and mine.
The team is also on a lookout for a Ghanaian accomplice who is allegedly leading the Chinese in these illegal activities. He appealed to Ghanaian small-scale miners to help the president sanitize the small-scale mining sector.
We are taking action against illegality, and we believe that foreigners in this country should obey our laws. Ghanaians should not partner foreigners to destroy our environment and our biodiversity. I mean, the Chinese cannot travel all the way from China to Ghana to a forest without the connivance of certain Ghanaians.
TV3 sources can confirm the said Ghanaian accomplice is only known as Donald and linked with mining company CNJ Alaska, who claimed to be in a possession of a legal license. Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng insists monitoring of the various concessions and sites will be intensified. He added plans are advanced to acquire speedboats for the Navy to patrol the river bodies.
When the ban is lifted, we will intensify our monitoring efforts and clamp down on anything that will be against what we stand for as a nation.
He also assured that the decision to lift the ban before Christmas remains.
Now, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners has commended the actions taken by the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining to raid the Krobo Forest Reserve of illegal miners. The association, in a statement, noted it wants further investigations conducted to uncover the owners of this illegal mining site and dealt with in accordance with the laws of the land to serve as a deterrent to others. The association described persons behind these illegal mining sites as unpatriotic, self-centered persons with political cover. So let's go on the phone lines now and speak with Emmanuel Yuenchi, who is Operations Director of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. Good evening to you, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and a very good evening also to your viewers, especially small-scale miners across the country.
Yeah. So this should be some good news for your men, as these persons are the reasons why the ban was placed.
Come again?
So I'm asking, this should be some form of good news for you and your men, because these men were the reasons why the ban was placed. And now that the police is clamping down on them, it should come as good news to you.
Yes, it is. In fact, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, we have been talking and complaining about this particular operations in the Krobo Forest for the past 10 months now. it gives us some sense of relief when these arrests were made. And we think that the International Committee on Illegal Mining should not relent on their efforts, because there are other illegal activities going on around the country. And we are happy that these arrests have been made, and we are also calling on them to subject it to further investigations so that the Ghanaian faces behind these foreigners will be unraveled and they will be brought to justice.
So in your commendation, you alleged that these persons have political cover and so they act with immunity. On what grounds are you making this allegation, and what exactly do you mean by that?
Yes, thank you very much. There is a ban on all forms of small-scale mining. And for certain individuals to have the tenacity to go into no less a place than a forest reserve with this number of equipment and this number of foreigners mining in them whilst Operation Vanguard is around. It will only take somebody who would think or who believes or would have a certain kind of political covering for that person to be that bold to do this to our forest reserve. And it's out of this that we are saying that such unpatriotic, self-centered people should be brought to book.
So how are you collaborating with the committee to ensure the sector is sanitized going forward?
Yes, already we are collaborating, but going forward, we're going to intensify that collaboration. As a result of the ban, most of our members have lost a lot of capital, and so funding our task force has become quite difficult. As we, when we started this whole fight against illegal mining, our task force were on the ground moving here and there. But our activities, we have reduced our operations due to lack of financial support from our members because of their businesses. And so we hope that once this ban is lifted, our members will go back to do their legitimate business, and then they will start funding us again. We are also calling on the government to support our task force with logistics so that we will be able to support the government and get rid of these unpatriotic Ghanaians.
And before I let you go, the Interministerial Committee ended the vetting of small-scale miners last Friday. Were all your members able to go through the vetting?
Most of our members were able to go through the vetting successfully. Some had issues with their TIN numbers, and then also re-registration of their companies. You will recall that the GRA moved from an earlier regime to a new regime, whereby the TIN numbers were changed from the format. The formats were changed. And most of our members, their company registration bear the old TIN number in the old regime. And so when these whole activities came, you know that almost 2 years now we've not been at work. And so some of our members could not update their TIN number to the new regime as the GRA requires. And so these issues, some of them I'm aware that they are they've gone in the they are in the process of acquiring the latest
TIN numbers
so that they will be able to update their details and then also go through the vetting successfully.
Thank you very much for joining us. Emmanuel Urenchi Entry is Operations Director of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. You're still watching News at 10 here on TV3. We are also live on DSTV channel 279. We're back with more stories after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back from the break. This is NEWSAT10 on TV3. We are also live on DSTV channel 279. The United Nations estimates every year $1 trillion is paid in bribes, while an estimated $2.6 trillion are stolen annually through corruption. The director of CDD, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, says corruption costs 10 times more than money Ghana gets in aid, a situation that could only be tackled through a social movement against corruption.
Though there is a general acknowledgement that corruption permeates all aspects of the Ghanaian life, little has been achieved in the fight. Several laws and institutions have been formulated and established in this regard, but the menace still persists. To change this, the Center for Democratic Development, in partnership with other anti-corruption agencies, embarked on a maiden work to kickstart a movement that will change the narrative on corruption. The work was the climax of activities of a 21-day action in the fight against corruption.
Corruption is bad. Corruption is evil. Corruption is murderous. Corruption is injustice. Corruption leads to poverty. Corruption is injurious to society, both in the short, medium, and long term. What we drain through corruption constitute amounts that would have been used in building hospitals, good roads, good schools, that brings comfort to society. Unfortunately, the greed of humanity is drifting from the point of values to point of just wealth.
The director of the Center for Democratic Development, Professor Kwesi Prempeh, said the vulnerable in society are the ones who end up being victims of corruption.
Corruption victimizes mostly the poor, the powerless, the needy in society. Very rarely do the public servants who demand money from you, the police who demand money from you in traffic, or whether it's the Land Commission, anywhere, very rarely do they demand it of people they believe have power.
Legal practitioner and anti-corruption advocate Akoto Ampao noted there was a need for a social movement against corruption.
Corruption is institutionalized in Ghana and permeates all our systems. And therefore, to fight it, we require a movement from below, a movement of ordinary people who will be uncompromising in fighting against corruption. This is so because I can assure you that the political elite, the parties, they are united in not fighting corruption.
He said the fight against corruption will be in vain if a political funding law is not passed.
Until and unless we look at and ensure accountability in the funding of political parties, all the noise we are making about fighting against corruption will take us nowhere. So in my view, one of the duties of this movement is to look again at how our parties are funded.
The work will be organized each month to press home the need for changing attitudes and fighting corruption.
Now let's go to the quarters of the NDC because 8 out of the 12 aspirants who declared their interest to contest the National Democratic Congress presidential primaries were able to pick nomination forms on final day. 2 of the 4 who could not pick the forms, Elikplim Agbemava and Kojo Bonsu, blamed their inability to continue the race on the short period allocated they had to meet the set deadlines. Petition to the Council of Elders for a reduction of the filing fees, the Council of Elders successfully convinced the party to slash the fee by 100,000 cedis from 400,000 to 300,000 cedis, but maintained the nomination fee at 20,000 Ghana cedis. Out of the 12 aspirants, only 8 were able to pick the forms by close of day, December 8. The 8 are former President John Dramani Mahama, Alban Bagbin, Eccles Pio Gabra, Sylvester Mensah, Professor Joshua Alabi, Gusitano, Alhaji Nuruddin Idrisu, and Stephen Atubiga. 2 aspirants, Kojo Bonsu and Elikplim Agbemava, who earlier protested the 400,000 Ghana cedis filing fee by petitioning the party's Council of Elders, have backed down. whilst Elikplim Agbemava has thrown his weight behind the candidate of John Mahama. Kojo Bonsu says he would only support an elected flag bearer after the primaries next year. The party will go to the polls on January 26, 2019 to elect a flag bearer ahead of the 2020 general elections. From the NDC, let's go to the NPP, where campaigning for Ghana's election 2020 has started early for some NPP groups in the Ashanti region. Under the banner Pankrono Adabraka Lovers Association of the NPP, the group has taken the lead to canvass for votes for the ruling party. A report by Benjamin Edu. The official inauguration of the Pankrono Adabraka Lovers Association of the NPP in Kumasi attracted some leading members of the party in the Ashanti region. The association seeks to mobilize supporters in villages, towns, cities, churches, markets and other places within the region and to sensitize the public on government policies and programs. The group will also train women and other vulnerable groups in soap making, batik tie and dye, among others, to make them employable. Speakers at the inauguration asked Ghanaians to be patient but have confidence in the president to deliver on electoral promises.
The president has vowed to make Ghana prosper. Although he came to meet a bad economy, he is working hard.
When you look around, you look at the programs the government and the party have for the country and how they have started, it is good.
What I'm telling the Ghanaian populace is that we should rest assured that our party, led by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, we are going to transform this country and make sure that the resources of this country is evenly distributed for the greater good of this country.
Branches of the association will be established in other parts of the country to make the NPP more attractive than any other political party. Now, let's do some sports because WBO Super Bantamweight champion Isaac the Royal Storm Dugbe is set to defend his WBO Super Bantamweight title on Saturday against Mexican Emmanuel Navarrete. Dugbe will be stepping into the ring for the 4th time in the year and sees the defense as his final WBO bout before his hoped unification of the division. Isaac the Royal Storm Dugbe will be mounting the ring at the Madison Square Gardens in New York City, not only to defend his title, but also his 20 straight professional wins and 14 knockouts. Dugbe is now fighting on a joint promotional partnership with Top Rank Promotions Bill, which features a world lightweight title unification fight. Emmanuel Navarrete will be Dugbe's 3rd straight opponent this year from Mexico and is said to be a tough customer in the ring. But the champion says he will not swallow anything less than early knockout.
Navarrete is a very strong guy, so it's a very, very strong opponent. And we're taking, this fight very, very important. We're taking it very seriously. We're going for knockout. When the storm is coming, I'm coming with lightning and thunder. I'm coming with the storm.
Dugbe will be making his 4th appearance in the ring this year, having had wins over Cesar Suarez in January, Jesse Magdaleno in April, and Hedinori Otake on August 25. Navarrete, on the other hand, is working tirelessly in a bid to dethrone the hard-hitting Ghanaian. And we wish Isaac the Royal Storm Dugbe all the best in his next fight. That's how we end this edition of NEWSAT10 on TV3, which was also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwasari. Many thanks for joining us.